Teach me, O Saint Therese, in praising God.
My dear brothers and sisters, this is just to share with you a simple reflection on Saint Therese of the Child Jesus as we celebrate her feast day. Let us look at her, who is someone we might not think of in connection of loving the poor, her preferential option for the poor. Malapit sa puso ni Saint Therese yung mga taong may hirap. In her autobiography, The Story of a Soul, makikita natin doon yung kanyang malasakit at pagmamahal sa mga maralita mula pa noong maliit siya kasamang kanyang pamilya sa kanilang tahanan sa Alençon and later on sa Les Buzenay sa Lisieux hanggang sa buhay niya bilang isang Carmelite nun sa isang monasteryo sa Lisieux. Pinalaki po si Saint Therese ng kanyang mga magulang na pareho ding mga santo na sina Saint Louis at Saint Zélie na may malasakit at pagmamahal sa mga dukha. Charity to the poor and suffering was an ongoing concern of the family of Saint Therese. Nakuha po ni Saint Therese sa kanyang pamilya yung kaugaliang tumulong sa mga nangangailangan. Noong bata pa siya, during Therese's daily walks with her father Louis, Therese was given money to disperse to the needy they meet along the way, which made Therese feel very happy. Namimigay po siya ng limos at tumutulong siya sa mga may hirap and she prayed for them. On Monday evenings, beggars gathered at the gate of their home. It was Therese who was given the task of dispersing alms to them. Doon na-develop yung concern at pagmamahal ni Therese sa mga maralita dahil sa turo ng kanyang mga magulang. Therese's mother, Zélie, despite long days spent with her lacework business and family, would spend hours at night nursing sick neighbors and helping poor families with money, food, and clothing. Orphans and widows also receive help from the family. At yung lahat na pagtulong sa mga maralita ay na-witness ni Therese nung malit pa lamang siya. Kaya nga po ang model natin sa pagtulong sa mga may hirap ay hindi lang actually si Saint Therese, kundi yung kanyang buong pamilya. The family of Saint Therese is the model for all Christian families. Alam ni Saint Therese na kung ano ang ginawa mo sa iyong kapwa, ay siya rin ginawa mo sa Panginoon. Very much aware si Therese doon sa sinabi ng ating Panginoon sa Gospel ni Matthew chapter 25 na, "For I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was sick, and you cared for me. I was in prison, and you visited me. When you did it to one of the least of these my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me." Kaya nga po, alam ni Saint Therese na Jesus is the poor. Jesus is the one who is praying the rosary and pray the novena to Saint Therese than attending to the poor. We would rather enjoy hearing Mass in the air-conditioned church or pray in an air-conditioned adoration chapel than reach out to the poor. Unfortunately, we are missing the point. If we will continue this way, then Karl Marx will rise from the dead and scoff us that truly religion is the opium of the people. But religion is not the opium of the people. Religion should make us aware of the needs of the poor. And in helping the poor, we discover the face of God. The poor enable us to discover the true face of the Father. At nabanggit po yan ni Pope Francis sa 5th World Day of the Poor noong November 14, 2021. Sabi po niya, the face of God revealed by Jesus is that of a Father concerned for and close to the poor. Dagdag pa po ng Santo Papa na the poor always and everywhere evangelize us because they enable us to discover in new ways the true face of the Father. Kaya nga po tayong lahat, we are called to discover Christ in the poor, lend our voices to their causes, listen to and understand them, and welcome them because Jesus not only sides with the poor, but also shares their lot. Even as a Carmelite nun inside a monastery, Therese continued to serve the poor in her community through her little way. Sila po yung may hina at walang kakayahang tulungan ng sarili. Like, sila po yung mga sisters na hirap mamuhay sa community where Therese continued to reach out and help them. She guided her novices with love and patience. She took care of the sick and the elderly, at marami pa po siyang ginawang kabutihan sa kanyang kapwa. Nagawa niyang mga ito because Therese considered herself poor and one with the poor. That's why Saint Therese put all her faith and trust in the Lord. Sa pagkikisa sa mga mahirap at naghihirap, hindi naman kinakailangang gumawa tayo ng malalaking bagay like big projects para sa kanila to express our love and concern. For Saint Therese, the greatness of our love is not measured by the greatness of our external accomplishments. Great love can be exercised in ordinary things. Yun ang mas importante. Kahit gaano man ka-ordinaryo ang ginagawa natin, we put love. Kaya nga po, holiness is the perfection of charity. The more loving we are, the holier we are. Holiness is not developed simply by spending the whole day before the Blessed Sacrament inside a church. Holiness is loving Jesus in the tabernacle of the hearts of the people inside and outside the church. Holiness is charity in action, a contemplation of the face of God in the distressing disguise of the poor. At ang pagtulong sa mga maralita ay hindi lamang para sa mga may kaya sa buhay. Ito po ay para sa ating lahat, ang pagtulong. Sabi nga po ni St. John Paul II, nobody is so poor that he has nothing to give, and nobody is so rich that he has nothing to receive. And so, even the poorest of us have something of ourselves to give to others. Even the richest among us are still able to receive what others might wish to give. My dear brothers and sisters, let us ask Saint Therese to pray for us, to intercede for us, so that we may always seek to be one with Jesus in faith, and that we may seek Him always in our hearts, in His scriptural word, in the church and its sacraments, in the liturgy, and in our fellow human beings. Let us ask Saint Therese to help us discover Christ in the poor, just as the shepherd found Jesus as a poor baby boy lying in the manger. Let us ask Saint Therese for such a love of Jesus in the poor, that we will welcome the poor into our lives and serve them, knowing that in serving them, we serve Jesus Himself. For when we love the poor and Jesus in the poor, we will show ourselves to be true devotees of Saint Therese of the Child Jesus, the lover and friend of the poor.
Guide me, O Saint Therese, in living